Today we are going to be reacting to 3 horrific Tinder dates that ended in tragedy by Mr. Nightmare. As I've said before, he makes really good content of scary stories. I don't know if any of them are true. He usually says supposedly they're true, but then again, they're viewers submitted, so they could always be fake. And so his quality of content has never failed me so far, so let's continue. So 3 horrific Tinder dates that ended in tragedy. Let's see how these Tinder dates go.
On August 7th, 2014, Warina Wright and Gable Tosti matched on Tinder. Gable wasn't her usual type, looking like a man who spends way too much time on his appearance, but he reminded her of Sam Winchester, a character in Supernatural, one of her favorite TV shows. Gable opened with a raunchy and aggressively forward message, saying, "You look delicious, I want to do dirty things to you." To which Warina responds, "Does that usually work?" Gable then sends, "Can you be a freak in the sheets?" To which she says, "Probably not."
Oh my god. He reminds me of all those guys on the Tinder Reddit. Like whenever the girls post, man, do they ever think this is gonna work or something like that? Like, I can't believe she actually gave him a chance. Because these are usually the guys that I hear they deny. And so to hear that actually works out of I don't know, that gives me some mixed emotions.
Depends. Gable says, "What does it depend on?" And Warina responds, "What I've had to drink, lol." Gable keeps the conversation sexual by replying, "Let's get drunk together. I'm a porn star after a few drinks." Warina gives Gable her
I can't believe that. That was like what, 6 messages and already a date? Huh? Like I don't want to talk bad about the deceased, but Jesus Christ. Like that is super dumb and like really unsafe. Like my god.
number after the two exchange a few more messages. And a week later, they meet for the first time in the Cavill Mall. They spent the night together heavily drinking, and CCTV footage from multiple establishments showed them meeting, walking into a nearby beer garden, then purchasing a six-pack of beer at a nearby bottle shop. And after their night out together, they ended up returning to the Avalon Apartments where Gable lived alone on the 14th floor. 6 images taken by Gable that night show the couple apparently laughing and smiling in the apartment and on the balcony from which Warina would plunge to her death only hours later. For whatever reason, Gable recorded the audio of his entire night with Warina, which included the entire confrontation the two would have towards the end of the night, which was later played during Gable's trial. It was later found out that Gable had a weird habit of recording his entire dates with multiple women. At some point after the two had sex, Warina can be heard becoming increasingly erratic and aggressive towards him. However, as the night progresses, Gable can be heard in the recording refusing to let her leave, and Warina's terrified screams to let her go home are silenced when he locks her outside on the balcony. During this recording, Gable can allegedly be heard choking out Warina before locking her outside.
Call them with what? I thought you lost your phone.
Jesus Christ.
So how are you gonna call anyone without your phone?
You stole my fucking phone.
I didn't touch your goddamn phone.
You guys fucking stole my shit.
Shit, I should
So
never.
that's why I'm fucking calling you.
Should have never given you so much to drink. I thought we were gonna have fun.
Well, where's my shit?
Where's your
Where is
phone?
my shit?
What's your phone number? Oh,
Go
I have it.
800 fucking psycho bitch. Fucking.
I don't deserve this shit. All right, I'm a nice fucking guy.
Oh my god. I swear that this just keeps getting worse and worse. He literally says he's a nice guy. And that was his starter messages and everything. Oh, like I just can't believe what I'm listening to right now.
Ah, yeah. Nice fucking guy with all the money.
Must be on the balcony.
Oh, I have shitloads of money. Why is my fucking money?
Stop. Just calm down, please.
I'm not coming down
You've
because
had too much to drink.
I will say, like, she should have just left the apartment even without her phone and stuff. Like, she could have went to the office, talked to the police, do anything else. She's being overly physical aggressive with guys, and I think that's one big mistake women usually do, is like, because it is a social norm for guys not to raise a hand against a woman, but some girls take advantage of it too much, to where the one day the guy finally does do something, whether it's like some random guy that they meet, or a boyfriend that, or somebody that is taking it for such a long time, somebody is going to return the hands, and it could be fatal.
Alright,
I'm
just.
not coming down because I've had so much to drink and I have shitloads of money in New Zealand. It's not funny. Shit. You know?
Calm down, please.
Do you know how I feel? Because no one else has money.
Do you even remember what you were doing to me like half an hour ago? That was freaking me out. You beat me up for no reason.
Exactly.
Why?
Because you said you freak.
You thought it was funny or something. It's not.
No, I told you.
In the audio, he can be heard saying to Arena that she was lucky he didn't throw her off the balcony, along with numerous other threats.
Nice girl.
He's
Fucking
It's not about who you need. It's not about who.
Yeah, it is. You're fucking insane.
It's not about who you need. It's about who you give a shit now.
See, I thought you were kidding, and I've taken enough. This is fucking bullshit. You're lucky I haven't chucked you off my fucking balcony, you goddamn psycho little bitch. Who the fuck do you think I am?
Jesus Christ, what a sociopath. Oh my god. Like, I'm pretty sure he's getting off to this. Like, usually people keep this as a fantasy. And this dude is probably actually choking her out and then probably getting a hard on while doing it. It's like, that's crazy. Oh my god. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, do your Muay Thai now. What? Yeah.
This is all presuming while he's on top of her, restraining her.
Yeah, do your Muay Thai now. What? What? Got something to say? Say it.
Yeah.
Say it. Who the fuck do you think you are?
No!
Hmm?
No! No! No!
You're trying to kill me, huh?
No!
Why'd you try to hit me with that?
No!
Huh?
No! 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 No!
Fucking mouth. It's all on recording, you know? It's all being recorded. I would, but you've been a bad girl. I would, but you've been a
Door slams, locking Warren outside. I'm just kind of confused about this. So, he choked her out. I'm guessing he was trying to get her knocked out and then drag her to the patio to then lock her outside, but I'm now confused on how she's panicking and awake. Like, if he actually knocked her out by choking her, I don't think she would have regained consciousness that quickly to being able to fight as she was being dragged, because that's kind of a weird scenario. But it's like, yeah, it's like how these people escalate everything. I don't know, it's like he just couldn't let her leave for whatever reason. Like, I don't understand these guys, that why can't they just be normal?
It's apparent that both Gable and Warina were very drunk, with Warina sounding a lot drunker than Gable, slurring all of her words. Warina apparently thought the only way to escape would be attempting to climb down the building, which resulted in her falling from the balcony to her death.
She's drunk, so kind of, I don't even want to say understandable, but yeah, that's like just completely dumb. If like they're on like 20 floors up and she thinks the only way that she's ever gonna get out of this place is by climbing down. It's like she's probably in super panic mode thinking, oh my god, I've been kidnapped or I'm trapped in this guy's apartment. And so the only way for me to escape. That's the only like explanation or understanding on why I think this is reasonable why she did this, but then again, it's like if she would have just sobered up, she could have actually been reasonable and probably able to actually talk to him, and then he probably would have just let her leave. But yeah, that's just a tragedy, man. I am super sad on this one.
Gable, who was 28 at the time, was arrested for her death, but was ultimately acquitted of all charges. The prosecution claimed that Gable locked Warina on his balcony following a heated argument, and when she tried to escape, presumably to a lower floor, she plummeted to her death. Gable's defense team said Warina was extremely intoxicated and that she had been acting irrationally before her tragic fall. Prosecutors argued that Gable had choked Warina, trapped her, and made her so afraid that she felt she had no choice but to escape at whatever cost.
But my biggest question is, why does he have recordings of like every date he goes on? Is this just in case one day one of his dates is a serial killer and he dies? Or is the recording a way for him to prove his innocence if like somebody ever tries to have a fake rape allegation on him? And so he can be like, I recorded here. It was all consensual up until where she changed it at the last minute. Or possibly the third option of he may do this often. Or maybe it's the third option of where he gets off to the recordings. And so means he likes to look back whenever he records a video secretly that the date never knows about. And then he's like, man, that was such a good night. Or, you know, get this behavior that he usually does. And is like, damn, I wish this can happen more or something like that. I don't know.
Cost. An audio recording of Gable's phone call with his father right after the incident was eventually released. And in it, Gable is heard telling his father that things had become violent between the pair, and that he locked her on his balcony, but insisted that he did not push her.
Hello, Dad. I might have a bit of a situation.
He says I might have a bit of a situation. Okay.
I met up with the girl for a date tonight, and she started getting really aggressive. Like, it was all right at first, and like we, had sex in bed, and then after that, like, she kept drinking, and we were both drinking, and she, like, I think she thought it was like a joke or something, but she kept like beating me up and whatever. Like, I've been walking around and there are like a million cops around my building. I don't know what to do. I didn't push her or anything. I'm like just walking around the area, and there's like a million cops around the area. It's really up. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm walking around the area, and I just see a million cops around Avalon. So this is really, really up. Why does this keep happening to me? Like, I swear to God, I didn't push her or anything. I just chucked her out on the balcony and shut the door because she was beating me up.
According to a downstairs neighbor, loud arguments with women could be heard quite often from Gable's apartment, hinting that this kind of thing was a regular occurrence with him. Many people do believe that Gable murdered Warina, and there was public outrage when Gable was acquitted.
Yeah, so if they hear arguing quite often from then, this is like behavior he does quite a bit, and so he records all his Tinder dates just to be able to relive those experiences of like, man, that was so hot, or something like that. That's the only thing I can imagine, because it's just crazy anyone would do this and still have the recording. Like, I feel like that's something I could possibly see if I'm going on a sketch date with somebody. Like, if it's really sketchy on how the messages are, and I feel like my organs are about to be stolen. But yeah, that's crazy.
The process of going through a divorce is usually not a pleasant one, and emotions are often very mixed. For some, a divorce can be a horrible time in one's life, full of grief and sorrow. But for others, it can be a hopeful time, a fresh start. For 39-year-old Jovi Pilipil, a nurse from Sydney, Australia, her recent divorce with ex-husband Alexander Villaluna was going to be a new beginning. Jovi posted on Facebook, "New Year, New Beginnings," accompanied by a smiling photo of herself. She had since posted on her Facebook of flowers sent by secret admirers and birthday cards and gifts from her 3 children, who called her the best mother there can be, and an independent mother and woman. In March 2016, Jovi was using Tinder to find a date. Jovi is the mother of 4. She grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Auckland, New Zealand to train to be a nurse, and then she and her family would eventually move to Sydney, Australia. While on Tinder, she matched 53-year-old businessman Keith Collins.
53, god damn.
Keith had 3 children and 4 stepchildren. The two enjoyed chatting and decided to meet for a Collins. Keith had 3 children and 4 stepchildren.
4 stepchildren? Damn, dude. And dude either doesn't let his girl get on birth control or is not wrapping it. Like, damn, that's 7 kids?
On Tinder, she matched 53-year-old businessman Keith Collins. Keith had 3 children and 4 stepchildren. The two enjoyed chatting and decided to meet for a date. On March 30th, 2016, they went to dinner at a Korean barbecue restaurant. Just as they were finishing up, a man came up and put his arm around Keith. It was Jovi's ex-husband, Alexander. He asked Keith what he was doing with his wife. Keith said they were just having dinner. Then suddenly Alexander grabbed Keith by the neck with his left arm, and he used his right hand to stab him in the abdomen with a hunting knife. Jovi started screaming at him to stop, saying they were just having dinner. After stabbing Keith several times, Alexander turned his attention to his 35-year-old estranged wife. He stabbed her once in the chest and once again in the arm when she tried to defend herself. Keith had fallen to the floor and he was trying to get up. Alexander got on top of him and then using both hands, he punched the knife into his chest. He did this 5 more times. After stabbing Keith 11 times and his ex-wife twice, Alexander calmly walked out of the restaurant. Jovi began to run from the restaurant, and at first Alexander went after her, but he seemed to give up or change his mind and head back to the restaurant, where he sat by Keith's now dead body and waited for the police to arrive. He surrendered without putting up a fight to the arresting officer, and he admitted that he attacked Keith because he was having dinner with his ex-wife.
Damn, I can't believe nobody stopped him in the entire building. Everyone just let that happen. Also, this officer is showing some pretty good restraint. If you've seen American officers, it's like they're usually not afraid to blast, but I'm guessing because he's just being so cooperative, they're actually willing to give him the chance to come peacefully. I'm guessing he's on the left side or somewhere. You can't see the dead body.
Jovi was taken to the hospital, and while she sustained injuries, she survived the attack. Alexander and Jovi had met 9 years earlier when they were both training to be a nurse in Auckland. They were both from the Philippines. Jovi claimed that Alexander was abusive from the start of their relationship. He wouldn't let her have friends and wouldn't let her leave the house often. Jovi already had 3 children from a previous relationship in 2011. She had 1 son with Alexander. 2 years before Keith was murdered, Jovi left Alexander and got a restraining order against him. In response to this, he told her that he would kill her if she ever started dating another man. But he also said at a later time he would spare her life because of their son. In September of 2017, Alexander pleaded guilty to murder. When given the chance to apologize, Alexander said it was difficult to say he was sorry because he was still angry about what happened to him. It also turned out that he told the probation and parole service that Jovi blamed herself for the problems in their relationship. So according to him, she would have been happy to have been killed by him. Alexander also claimed he attacked Keith in self-defense. However, CCTV footage clearly showed that he was the aggressor. The judge said the most heinous part was when he attacked Keith while he was already on the floor bleeding to death. In October of 2017, Alexander was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and he'd have to serve at least 30 years before he could apply for parole. He'll be able to apply for parole on March 30th, 2046, when he's 74 years old. On the morning of October 26, 2018, 21-year-old Grace Mullane drove from her Essex County home to Heathrow Airport in London, where she boarded her flight to Peru. She spent the next 10 days traveling from island to island before heading on her way to Auckland, New Zealand, where she would arrive on November 30th, 2 days before her 22nd birthday. Grace was staying at a hostel where she made friends with some of the other tourists and backpackers. Grace was known for being an outgoing social butterfly. She spent the rest of the night on the 30th taking it relatively easy, and decided to start swiping on Tinder looking to meet someone, maybe make some local friends while she visited. She swiped until she connected with somebody named Jesse, and the two began to chat. Grace and Jesse made plans to go on a date the following day, and so on December...
Okay, no to Mexican, maybe cocktails. Where is she again? Oh man, hold on, wait.
Before heading on her way to Auckland, New Zealand, where she boarded her flight to Peru. She spent the next 10 days traveling from island to island before heading on her way to Auckland, New Zealand, where she...
Auckland, New Zealand? Man, that is a pretty civilized place, New Zealand. And so, I mean, bad things can happen anywhere, but that's crazy that it happens at such a nice city like that.
She would arrive on November 30th, 2 days before her 22nd birthday. Grace was staying at a hostel where she made friends with some of the other tourists and backpackers. Grace was known for being an outgoing social butterfly. She spent the rest of the night on the 30th taking it relatively easy, and decided to start swiping on Tinder looking to meet someone, maybe make some local friends while she visited. She swiped until she connected with somebody named Jesse, and the two began to chat. Grace and Jesse made plans to go on a date the following day, and so on December 1st, 2018, Grace's bunkmates watched as Grace got ready and left the hostel to head to her date with Jesse. A few hours went by, and at some point in the evening, Grace sent a message to a friend back home stating that the date was going really well and she felt a connection with Jesse. However, it wasn't long after this message that Grace's phone and social media activity went silent. The next day was her birthday, and many of Grace's family and friends went on to send Grace happy birthday wishes, but she never replied to any of them. And as the days went on, everybody became increasingly concerned. And so on December 5th, 2018, Grace's family reported her missing to Auckland law enforcement. They clarified their concern by pointing out that Grace was actually carrying 2 cell phones while she traveled, just in case there was ever an issue with one of them, so that way she would still be able to stay in touch. Both of Grace's cell phones had been going directly to voicemail as of December 2nd. Grace's father traveled to New Zealand to do some searching of his own. CCTV footage caught Grace leaving her hostel at exactly 5:37 p.m. She then walked to a bar and casino known as Sky City, which was fairly close to her hostel, and she waited there for a few moments until she's seen meeting up with and hugging Jesse. The two of them then went into Sky City for approximately 90 minutes while they had some drinks together, and things appeared to be going really well and the two appeared to be hitting it off. They continued their date onto the next bar, known as Mexican Cafe. They had a few more drinks at the Mexican Cafe, and then they continued on again to another bar known as the Blue Stone Room. While at the Blue Stone Room, things appeared to become more intimate between the two. They can be seen kissing multiple times, before Jessie made a quick trip to the bathroom. This is the exact moment that Grace messaged her friend back home that she was having a really good time with her date. Jessie then returned, and the two eventually left the bar at 9:40 p.m. The two are seen holding hands and walking towards a...
The one thing I will say is I find it mind-boggling evil. Like, I don't know what happens in the room, like, yet, but this could all be planned. Like, this guy could be a serial killer on Tinder, and so means he always plans this beforehand to kill his victims. And I find that just so evil, that these killings could always be premeditative, if that's how you say the word, where he's always planning to kill them. Like, if something goes wrong in the room, it's like something at that point can be understandable, but if like his attention was always to kill her, like that is just crazy. I don't know. And that's why you always gotta watch yourself out on Tinder dates. Always make sure you know what their motive is.
building known as...
Because considering they're hitting it off, I feel like he is trying to do everything in his power to look like the perfect guy for her. And so that is just crazy to me, that the date is going so well.
the City Life Hotel, where Jesse rented an apartment. The two can be seen entering the elevator of the building and exiting on the floor of Jesse's apartment. This is the last moment that Grace was seen alive. The next morning on December 2nd, Jesse is then seen entering the elevator alone and exiting his apartment building. He's then seen purchasing a handful of cleaning supplies as well as a new large suitcase. He places the new purchases inside his apartment, and then he leaves the apartment again. He then jumps in a taxi and gets a ride to a local car rental facility where he rents a vehicle and heads to another bar in the area to meet up with a second Tinder date, the day after murdering his previous Tinder date.
Yeah, so these are premeditative. Considering if this is something he is doing back to back, he just murdered that girl and is now going on another Tinder date. So yeah, he must be a serial killer doing this. And I don't know, man. That just puts me sick to my stomach. That you could just take a life like that and then just do it again. And probably just do all the steps you did with that other person that thought you were literally the best guy in the world.
This date became uncomfortable very quickly, and she decided to end things because she found him really creepy after he had been talking about the best places to hide a dead body. When the date was over,
Oh my god, he just throws himself, explains himself, and damn, why would he do that? Like, you kind of think he would be sly, actually getting away with it, but like doing that.
Jesse stopped by the front desk of his apartment building and asked if he could borrow a Rug Doctor carpet steam cleaning machine. He brought it up to his apartment.
They just let you borrow those? What the hell? I don't know what kind of hotel he's at, but they just let you borrow a steam carpet cleaner? Like, why? Like, you would think this is something that the hotel would do themselves whenever they're really need to clean a carpet, but just letting someone use their equipment? That's crazy to
Spent
me.
a couple hours in there before appearing on camera again. He's then seen bringing a hotel luggage cart up to his room, and shortly after, reappearing in the elevator with the luggage cart loaded with his new suitcase and many other small suitcases. He then brings the luggage cart down to his rented vehicle and loads everything inside. The next morning at around 7 a.m. on December 3rd, Jesse then went to a nearby store and purchased a brand new shovel. He then returned to his apartment building just after 9 a.m. He then stopped by a random trash can and tossed out some items, and then drove to a dry cleaning service to clean some clothing, and then he took his car rental to be completely cleaned. Police caught up with Jesse a few days later and brought him in for questioning.
Jesse spots police in his building, who then notice him and chase him. He knows what he did, and he is staying there still. It is kind of crazy to me. Some people, it's like after doing something horrific, they try and play it off as if they've done nothing, and then eventually they'll crack and then start like making even more mistakes. Like, why are you running if you have nothing to hide? There they go, they're going after him.
The police believe that Jesse was involved in some way due to the substantial amount of evidence against him.
Tell us about Grace. So I was talking to Grace on Tinder. We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched.
If he doesn't talk about how she never left the apartment, like if he says something contradictory to what the cameras show, is that she never left through the elevator, then he's screwed. Like, that's the only thing I need to hear to be like, yeah, this guy fucking did it, because he's not telling the truth on this. Where else could she have gone? Did she fly away?
The next day on Saturday.
How did the evening pan out?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know.
Why'd they blur out his face? Like, at first they weren't blowing out his face, and then they started?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of. So, have you heard of catfish?
No.
So, catfishing is where someone.
Okay, a little tangent right now. It's hard to believe someone like this, like, I don't know if he's in this guy's age range or something, but it does kind of blow my mind. Some people don't know what a catfish are. Old people, I would say relatively old, probably people in their 40s or 50s should know what a catfish is at this point. I would say most people do use dating apps and should be aware of that.
Someone uses your profile, uses your photos, and pretends to be you, and then meets, and you're a completely different person. Right. And it's happened to a few people I know in Australia, and it's all over. It's all over the TV. So I thought, you know, if I meet at Sky City, at least I know that there's lots of people around. So if it is someone that it's not, then I can just walk away.
How did the evening sort of come to an end?
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and a thanks, nice meeting you. And then I said, let me know about tomorrow. And she said, okay. And then she kept walking.
We actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Have I been arrested for something I didn't do?
You've been arrested.
Oh. Oh.
They immediately obtained a search warrant for Jesse's apartment, and they began a forensic examination. Despite Jesse's cleaning attempts, the investigators were able to discover blood in and...
Yeah, there was no way he was ever gonna get away with this. Like, you have to murder somebody somewhere where people have no way to search. Somewhere in a forest that nobody's gonna ever use their forensic gear. But in this small, tiny room that people know that you and where the girl went last is obviously going to be where they're going to use their forensic gear. And they're going to find the blood or whatever this stuff is that is left by the blood to be like, yep, blood was dropped here. And so she had to be murdered here. Crazy.
Around the two edges of his apartment carpet using luminol. Jesse was then interviewed again on December 7th, just 2 days after his initial interview, and this was when his story to police began to change.
and drove the car out to Cumu at first. I picked up a shovel from ITM at Cumu. I ended up driving towards the Waitakaris.
Why are they hiding his identity? Because first of all, that they already revealed who he is. So, and plus this guy doesn't even deserve to be anonymous for what he's done. Like, why would they do this halfway on giving him half anonymous and half not? Crazy.
I went into the bush. I dug a hole. I went and got the suitcase and I covered the hole. And then I drove.
Where is her possessions?
I threw them in the rubbish.
Whereabouts?
Albert Park rubbish.
Right. So what items of her property have been disposed of in Albert Park?
Everything.
All of her clothing?
Everything that was in the room.
Right.
I was just panicking.
Did you inflict any injuries on her that caused her to die?
No.
Did you kill Grace Mullane? Okay. And you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Mullane on or about the 2nd of December. You understand?
Yep.
Jesse was charged and held in police custody.
I swear that's such a pussy thing. He's lying about it and everything. The cop gives him one chance to straight up be truthful with him before busting him, being like, "Did you murder her?" And he says no. And then the cop comes in and he's like, "You're under arrest for the murder of Grace Ryan." Is like, yeah, fuck this dude, man. For lying. That was probably his only chance to like plead guilty and go with that deal of like actually confess to your crimes and be somewhat remorseful. Dude wanted to hide it till the very end.
And while behind bars, police found pictures Jesse took of Grace before placing her inside the luggage that he purchased. Google search history and GPS from Jesse's cell phone led investigators to the Waitakere mountain ranges, where they discovered the luggage with Grace's body buried in a hole. Jesse was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. During this time, 2 more victims came forward and accused Jesse of sexually assaulting them after matching with him on Tinder. In October of 2020, Jesse was convicted of 8 more charges related to these offenses. He was sentenced to serve an additional 11 years concurrently to the life sentence that he had already received. Jesse Kempson currently resides at the Auckland prison in New Zealand, where he will remain.
God damn. That was a crazy one. Serial killers are so strange to me. He must have had such a messed up childhood that's how your life turns out. Like, it's just so incomprehensible on how your life turns out that bad. But yeah, another banger video from Mr. Nightmare. But the stories were so sad though, man. That just turns my stomach so much. But yeah, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to Mr. Nightmare. He does really good horror videos on everything. And if you guys enjoyed my reaction, please make sure to follow me on all my social medias, like my Twitter, my Twitch, my YouTube, my DLive, my TikTok, my Kick, Rumble, Odyssey, and Dailymotion. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, and like and comment on all my videos, and even join my Discord. There you can stay up to date with everything I choose to do, where's my streams, videos, or anything else. Yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.